This is the Bible Show.
Welcome, folks, to a special episode of the Bible Show. My name is Sam. Joining me is Will. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different in light of what has happened this week, and for the fact that I feel like I have to speak about this because I am feeling in so much turmoil over the events of this week, the evil on display in multiple places, particularly with Charlie Kirk being assassinated. You know, Charlie, I would say, I have two teenage boys who look up to him, who love to listen to him, who've been discipled by him, though they've never met him. And to see somebody that I would consider a generational prophet, honestly, who was a happy prophet, who would go in the lion's den of public universities and exchange ideas and pray for people and invite people to Jesus, and to be a massive part of the seismic shift that we've seen in this younger generation toward Christ and toward godly principles, to see him murdered, and having made the mistake of watching one of the videos and having that seared into my brain, and then to see so many in the cesspool that is social media reveling in the fact that he died. I'm not equipped to process that without feeling overwhelming rage.
Yes.
And in fact, I would say that I'm supposed to feel overwhelming rage and anger at the unrighteous evil, demonic evil that we saw in Utah. And so what I wanted to do is I didn't sleep at all last night, so God only knows if I'm going to make any sense. I know you didn't sleep. Bill was like, I'm going to look like a patient in a hospital for this episode.
I do not have leukemia, anybody. I'm not sick.
But it was a rough night. Tons of sadness and anger. And I wanted to do a devotion because right now there's a lot of people who are like me where my flesh is just ready to go berserk. And these are the moments where faith calls you to submit to something more beautiful. And I'm not saying don't be angry, and I'm not saying my hope for this and what we experience is that it will make people more courageous, not less. That they will confront evil, that they won't shrink back, that they won't allow it to just mow down the coming generations, that this actually creates thousands of more Charlie Kirks. But for Sam not to take vengeance, which is where my heart naturally goes, and I think that's where a lot of people go, and it's totally understandable. Like, we're supposed to be angry. What do I do with this? And Psalm 4 is a beautiful prescription for what to do with your anger, which is not wrong to feel.
Yeah, I think as we were texting this morning about Psalm 4, and when I read it, when he said it, I think it'll hit home today. But I think that's because I feel disoriented. Like, I'm not to the rage stage that you are, but it's different. And I think it's the first time I ever felt like this. Or I think when we read this psalm, I think I understand David a lot more than I did Monday. Because the psalm, sometimes you're like, this feels like a lot of emotion, a lot of questions, not tons of answers, but a lot of trust in the end. And that's where I hope we end today.
Yeah.
But it is one where the Psalms are making more sense today than they did yesterday.
Yeah, David faced a lot of things in his life that were terrifying, that were rage-inducing, anger-inducing, and he offers us some prescriptions on how to go about this. And I'll tell you, honesty, like last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to my Abide app, just like, please, God, give my soul some sense of calm, like, and playing it, and I'm getting mad at it. Like, I don't want to hear this right now. Like, I'm so disgusted with our culture that I just want action. I want to go confront something. I'm so disgusted, so grieved, so angry that even the word was like, not right now, and I know that's when I'm in danger, is when I'm like, no, I got this, God.
I don't want to be in God's presence.
Yeah. Like, let my flesh have this one, because that's where I'm at. So everybody's getting a sneak peek into how wicked I am in my flesh. But, so Psalm 4 starts, it's a Psalm of David. And he says he's going through it. Like, he is facing real things, real tragedies, real betrayals that are driving him to real anger. And he says, answer me when I call, O God of my righteousness. And just pause there for a moment. Like, it's the God of my righteousness. Like, what do you hear there? Where is my righteousness?
It's only in God.
It's only him. Like, when I'm angry, like, the only claim I have to righteousness is him. He is the God of my righteousness. Answer me when I call. And then he says, you have given me relief when I was in distress. And this is something that is so important for Christians to do when we come to moments like this where we want to look up at the heavens and say, why? Well, like, what's going on? Or we're tempted to despair. That expression, you have given me relief, literally means, like it's translated elsewhere in Psalm 119 as you've enlarged my heart. And in Psalm 18, it's you've made room for me. And the idea is when you're stressed and the world is closing in and you can't see anything but the evil that is just surrounding you all the time, the prayer to God is make room. Like, I give me some breathing room, God. Like, I need you to make room for me because I'm in distress. I don't know what to do with this. I can't handle this. My only hope is for you to show up and to give me some room, like enlarge my heart to be able to confront this or to make room for me to have some breathing space. Because right now the world seems awfully tight and dark and constricting and claustrophobic, and I need to get it off of me.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful subtext of even how he starts this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always start with me, me, and he's more mature than I, so we already got to the point where, like, I can't do this, God. You're gonna have to answer me because I can't get relief myself.
That's right.
I can't do it, so you have to do something about this.
That's right. I don't have the equipment in me. You want what I have? I'll give you a rage bomb.
Yeah.
But I know that's not what you want, and ultimately I'm called to submit to you because you're my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Times I don't like to say that. I want to do it my way. He goes on and says, be gracious to me and hear my prayer. And when he says that, it's like he's saying, like, I don't deserve to be in your presence. It's purely by grace that you even hear my prayer. And one of the things I love when David is in the Psalms, he always does this. He'll go, like, you've always done this before for me, right? Like, you have given me relief when I was in distress. He looks back on things that he can look at how they ended and go, you saved us there.
Yeah.
You parted the waters. You delivered us from the enemy. You did these things. And in the scriptures, there's these things called memorial stones, where when God would deliver them, they would take stones and they would pile them up so that whenever they walked around Israel, they could go back and be like, man, that seemed really hopeless. That seemed really dark. That was really desperate. Look at that pile of stones, because it commemorates when it seemed really dark and desperate and hopeless and impossible before, and he delivered us. And we need those memorial stones right now. I was talking with somebody who was saying, that Charlie Kirk is a martyr. And he absolutely is. Like, he was killed for what he believes, which is the Bible. And I said, take heart and remember what happened after the first martyr of Acts 7.
Stephen.
You get Acts 8, which is a massive revival. It shook people. It drove them to action. It drove them to go and boldly declare truth and gospel and to lift Jesus high. And you see revivals all over the place. Charlie Kirk will have died in vain for what he lived for if we don't carry a torch and lift high the cross. Like, his martyrdom finds meaning when we carry on the legacy of peacefully lifting up the truth, boldly declaring it, going out into the world and lifting high the mercies of Jesus in front of this younger generation. And he goes on in the psalm, he says, "O men, how long shall my honor be turned to shame? How long will you love vain words and seek after lies?" Like, good grief, social media. It's so upsetting. Just, how long do the lies and the grossness and the evil and the vain words and everybody's out there spewing their own thing, and it's just disgusting. But know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. Can you take that for a moment? In the midst of all the chaos and the swirling poisons and bile that's out there, hear this. The Lord has set you apart for himself. You're insulated from it. The Lord hears when I call to him. He delights in my prayers.
Yeah. That he's waiting for them.
That's right. And here comes the money shot for this episode, Psalm 4:4. Be angry. You good with that?
Right now, more so.
Like, way too often in Christianity, we tell people, you shouldn't be angry. Like, and we make people feel deformed in their spiritual walk when they feel anger. And I'm telling you today, a healthy Christian should feel anger when they see evil. A healthy Christian should have a natural response of righteous indignation, righteous anger when they see evil. The Psalms command it here. Ephesians 4:26 will jump on this and say, be angry. You're commanded to. So what you're feeling right now, godly, biblical, that's helpful, right?
Yeah.
So what do I do with this anger is then the next step, because you can be angry and burn it all down, and that's not honoring the Lord. It's not honoring a legacy. It's just burning it all down, and you're playing into Satan's playbook, right? Which I don't want to do.
No.
My flesh wants to, but that's not what I want to follow.
And this is God knows what happens on this earth. He knows that there's things in this world that cause us to be angry. He's not hiding that fact. He's not just whitewashing it, saying, hey, this world just rainbows and butterflies. Have a good time while you're here. There's going to be things that aren't just upsetting, but there's things that cause you to be angry. And the question isn't, what are those things? I think we could all name, man, if we sat here, we had enough time, we could have hours of things that
This week alone.
Yeah, anger-inducing. But like you said, the question is, okay, what do we do now? Just
Right.
God cares about what we do now.
That's right. He's saying there's going to be stuff to make you angry. But then comes the challenging part. Being angry is easy. And do not sin.
Yes.
And then he starts telling David. Now he's laying down the prescription. He's like, you think you have problems. You want to list David's problems? They're bigger than yours at this point in his life. And he's like, okay, be angry, right? There's real injustices happening. Your soul has a cause to be angry, but do not sin. And then he's like, okay, here's what I got to do. Ponder in your own hearts on your beds and be silent. Where does your brain go immediately with that?
Hey, we're doing a podcast about it.
Hey, I did go to bed last night, though. I pondered it in my bed. So ponder it in your hearts on your beds. Why would he tell you to do that and be silent? Because in your impulsive anger, what are you going to do?
You're going to lash out. You're going to react poorly. It's just going to be all flesh.
That's right. If somebody says something that's even, you're going to burn them down. You're going to go and you're going to roast everybody and anybody around you. You're going to be totally reckless with your anger. You're going to cause damage to relationships that will endure for a long time after this. So yes, be angry, but then go ponder it in your hearts on your beds and hush. Be quiet, because your mouth, when you're angry, is going to get you into a lot of trouble, right? Yeah. It's not saying don't speak, but in that moment of hot anger, hold. Speaking will come later when you've composed yourself and you have something wise to say. This is not saying don't speak. Good Lord, speak.
Yeah, but not first reaction.
But not out of hot anger. You won't speak wisely.
And I mean, when you hear ponder, what do you think of? Like, what other text in the Bible?
Oh, Mary.
That's it. That's all I think about.
Ponder these things
So
in
it's
my heart.
interesting that, that was the greatest thing to ever happen in the world, that she has Jesus in utero. And now David's also coming and saying, okay, those really evil, wicked things that make you angry, I want you to ponder those things too. Like, we're on either side of the extreme things. It's saying, okay, it's those times when the timeout needs to be taken, when you need to say, I need to ponder this and I need to work through this a little bit personally, just in my own heart, in my own mind, before anything happens.
And you notice what he's not saying. He's not saying, oh, there's evil things angering me. La, 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 la. I'm going to tune it all out.
Yeah. Forget about it.
He's saying, no, take an assessment. Take inventory of these things, but be quiet while you're doing it. Think about them. Find wisdom of how to move forward before you do. And Ephesians, when Paul is quoting this, he says, be angry and do not sin, direct quote. He says, do not let the sun go down on your anger and give no opportunity to the devil.
Yes.
So if he's quoting it, he elaborates on it, and he's like, what happens when you open your mouth? You give an opportunity for the devil.
Yes.
Which,
he does need more opportunities.
oh my goodness, the playground for demons and Satan right now is immense. And the godly should take heed of what the Lord calls us to, as hard as it is. Give no opportunity to the devil. And then he gives this really interesting thing. So as you're sitting there and you're going through the inventory of all the ways that you've been wronged and all the ways that this world is unjust and all the ways that you're mad at God and all the ways that you're mad at the world and all the ways that, it's out here, it's all this that I'm mad at those people, right? Listen to the next verse. Verse 5, offer right sacrifices. Whoa, what? What does that mean?
It's frustrating.
The last thing in the world you want to hear when you're angry at everyone else is to offer right sacrifices. Because when you're coming with right sacrifices, what are the sacrifices? In that time, it's, I'm a sinner and I need a substitutionary atonement. So while I'm raging at them, let me remember that I have a God who deserves to rage against me. That I, apart from Christ and his mercy, would cause him justifiable anger and wrath. And so he's like, okay, be angry. Now come give me the sacrifice and humble yourself.
And even Jesus talks about sacrificing. When the guy travels all the way to sacrifice and he has an issue with his brother, and Jesus says, no, put the sacrifice down, walk back, figure that out before you come and sacrifice to him.
Wow. Yes.
That's
got to be what that means, right sacrifices.
Yeah, like you're not in the right state to do this.
This is really hard. Offer right sacrifices. So that's what are the sacrifices? It's atonement for your sin. It's thanksgiving. I mean, there's it's all, I owe you, Lord.
Yeah.
It's coming to him with humility, saying, if anyone deserves to be angry, it's you, and with me, and with all of us, right?
Yeah.
And yet you show mercy, and you show patience to me. All right, now I guess I'm going to speak truth. Like you call me to. I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to be out there with the prophets saying this is evil and I will not tolerate it anymore. And I want the culture to come down on this, and I want to crush evil with everything that I've got. And yet it's calling me to a humble patience that God has for me.
Yeah, the first step is you bowing before the Lord, being right with God before anything else happens.
Yeah. And where Christians get confused on this, like I have no problem praying that God would smash the teeth of wickedness, right? The Psalms say that.
Yeah.
The difference is when Jesus comes, he says, you as a person, you're to turn the other cheek, right? You're to give your coat. That is not a command to the state. The state, the government, is to impose justice. This command that Jesus gives is not telling police to turn away from the burglar who's stealing. No, that's not loving. Loving your neighbor is demanding a society of order and law and virtue. That is loving your neighbor. But personally, we offer forgiveness. Personally, we extend mercy. The government, on the other hand, its job is to restrain evil, right?
It has the sword.
Vengeance isn't yours. But then Romans 13 comes and says God's given the sword to the government. Its job, by extension from the Lord, is vengeance upon wickedness. So this guy, this assassin, pray for his soul. I want the government to get him, and I want him hung, frankly. And I have no qualms about that. I don't think that's a violation of the scriptures at all. So offer right sacrifices, but where do you put your trust?
Not in the government or me.
It's in the Lord. Lord, do with this what you will. I hope you use it to bring revival. I have no idea what your plans are. We're going through the Joseph narrative right now where everything seems upside down all the time. Like, what are you doing, God? And then you get to the end and you're like, oh, okay, well, I approve now. Because you did something beautiful. What are we called to? I see nothing here that's good. I don't get it. I don't want it. I don't like it. And yet, trust the Lord. He's doing something to this. It's not in vain. He did not lay down his life in vain. He didn't.
Yeah.
Trust in the Lord. Offer right sacrifices. Put your trust in the Lord. And what are the sacrifices? Here's another one, Psalm 51. What are those sacrifices? The sacrifices of God, Psalm 51:17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. Oh God, you will not despise those.
Yes, it's refreshing just to hear that's allowed.
Right? And so The instinctive question we have in the face of suffering is, why, God, do you allow me to suffer? And what the psalmist is saying is, those are good questions. You're allowed to ask them of me. Go. How long? How long? How long? But ultimately, remember everything I've done for you. Remember who I am. Remember that I work it out. Put your trust in me. Offer sacrifices. Humble yourself. And remember to ask the better question, which is this: why, oh God, not do you allow me to suffer, but why did you allow him to suffer?
Yes.
For me. Why did he have to go through all that? He didn't deserve it. I did. And yet he did that to make sure that I have everlasting life, that all of these wrongs are undone, that everything ugly is made beautiful, that ashes are turned into beauty, and mourning is turned into dancing. All of that is flipped upside its head, because the only righteous, innocent person who ever lived suffered instead of me. I don't have a "that's not fair" card that I'm entitled to play with God.
Yeah, fairness is not a fruit of the Spirit.
Right? But this is where God is gently leading us. He sees the pain, but he's drawing us. David is drawing us here. And he says, there are many who say, who will show us some good? Right?
Fair question.
Good night. Can we please just have a win? Yeah. Who will show us some good? Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord. None of this stuff can bring good. It has to come from you. This world doesn't generate it. We're beaten up all the day long. The world is dark and heavy. You have to show us some good. And then he says this, and this is, gosh, if we can go from the deep mourning to this with David, this is where it's at. He says, you've put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and wine abound. In other words, all those people who stand against me, all their wickedness, everything they offer, all the worldly stuff that's here's where your happiness comes from. If you could just get my approval, if you could just win the culture war, if you could just, then you'd be happy. And David is coming to the realization that I could have all that. I could have everything that this world has to offer me. And you, God, have put more joy in my heart than they have when everything's roses and sunshine. And guess what? You have, no matter the circumstances.
That.
Him. The joy of the Lord is your strength in times like this. And it's important to remember that he is the prize, not stability. Not even the effects of the Spirit moving. We want that stuff, but ultimately, even if that doesn't happen, believers still have him. We still have the source of all joy. We have a salvation that's unshakable, an inheritance that can never be taken away from us. We have reason to rejoice in the middle of the worst of circumstances.
Yes.
And then he closes. He's like, okay, I've walked through the pain. I've walked through, the prayer. I've remembered that when I was in distress, you've always enlarged my heart. You've always made room for me. You've always turned it around. I go through all of this, and I'm angry, and I get on my bed, and I ponder these things. I really dive into my pain, and I express those angers, and I'm quiet. I don't roast anybody. And then I go out and I make right sacrifices, and I remember that, it's best when I trust in you. And oh, by the way, this world could give me everything that I want, and I'd still be unhappy if I don't have you. Your joy is better than anything that it could offer. And it's only then, after all of that that process of dealing with grief and anger, that you come to Psalm 4:8. And he says, in peace, I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. That's the only path to peace in this. I mean, you could rage, you can burn it down, you could go after it, you can stew, you can do all those things, you can shake a fist at God for, that's okay. He can take it. But ultimately, you're called to this path. And it's the only way you'll ever be able to say, in peace I will both lie down and sleep. Because the only one who controls your tomorrows, who loves you infinitely, who gave his son on a cross for you, he alone makes you to dwell in safety. You can't engineer it. The world will never give you a security that's unassailable. He alone gives you that security that's found in Christ that can never be taken away. So, in the middle of all this grief, and it's raw for me. So for those of you that are like, whoa, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. on Thursday.
like give me some grace.
Yeah.
I'm processing this, but I'm grieved. I'm sad. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm so tired of this culture that is filled with this vile toxicity. This is the toolkit that the Psalms give us that say, let me get recentered in something that's not so easily shakable.
Yeah, we have to do this. This is not going to fall into our laps today.
Yeah. And for those of you that are out there still raging and who are like, shut up, I get it.
Yeah.
But when you're ready, this is for you, right? When you're ready to say, you know what, I am out of control, and I rely on mercy, and the Lord should be angry with me. Like all of those things that this psalm rehearses. When you're ready for that, the psalm is here for you. I understand being angry and not wanting to hear it in the moment. But this is David's antidote for stress. Ready? There's 7 steps. 1, remember God's past faithfulness to you. Think about all those memorial stones through his life. Think about his past faithfulness to the church, to the nation, to your city, to your family. Like when you start stacking them up, it's like, okay, you've always had this. You've got this too. Number 2, remember how much God values you. He hears you.
Yeah, he's not forgotten.
He delights in your prayers. He loves you. He gave his life for you. That's your price tag in his sight. Number 3, wrestle with the very real pains of your life. Don't ignore them. Get on your bed. Wrestle with them. Line them up, but be quiet.
Yeah, do some pondering today.
Ponder. 4, offer a broken and contrite spirit to the Lord. Give up your sacrifices that recognize though he had a right to be angry, he came with compassion and loved you. 5, be humbled. Consider the cost of your sin. 6, measure your request against your reality. In other words, what do I mean? I mean, if you could have everything over here,
Yeah.
versus a God who loves you, who would go to a cross to die for you, who gives you the Spirit, who lavishes you with love, who rejoices over you with singing. If you could pile up everything on this side of the scale that the world has to offer, and God over here, this is heavier. This is better. Remember what you have in him and be content over here. Fight for this stuff that's righteous and good, but be content over here. Measure your request against your reality. You have him. And finally, trust in the Lord and sleep in peace, which I failed at last night miserably. But I am hoping by the end of today, the Lord will work on me. Because I told people today, like, my brain is going to have to wrangle my heart today because my heart is just so broken and filled with sadness and grief and rage that today my brain has to preach to my heart and remind my heart of these truths. And it's even talking about it's helpful, quite frankly. And hopefully it's been helpful for you too.
I mean, should we end this episode just praying this over all of us?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So Lord, answer me when I call, O God of my righteousness. You've given me relief when I was in distress. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer. O men, how long shall my honor be turned into shame? How long will you love vain words and seek after lies? But know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord hears when I call to him. Be angry and do not sin. Ponder in your own hearts on your beds and be silent. Offer right sacrifices and put your trust in the Lord. There are many who say, who will show us some good? Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord. You have put more joy in my heart than they when grain and wine abound. And Lord, in peace I'll both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Amen.
Amen. God bless you guys.